Never gets old. Alright, who here likes a good mystery? Huh? We're back to do Wild, Blue, Yonder. What the fuck am I, Jesus, am I keeping up with the hip YouTubers these days? I've lost it, I've fully lost it, I'm gone. This is my retrospective series where I talk about Doctor Who episodes 1 year after they have aired. And as I go through the episodes, I say the W's, I say the L's. If you haven't checked out the previous video where I talked about Starbase, you can check it out. But today we're talking about Special 2, which is Wild Blue Yonder, a highly anticipated story. Probably I'd say the most anticipated out of all of the three. I was most excited for it. It seemed like most people were most excited about this one. Everyone thought that Matt Smith was going to come back and Peter Capaldi, and as you know, we were all right. It definitely happens in this episode. I was ecstatic. I stayed up till 3:30 a.m. with my best friend Daniel. We clicked play, not knowing what to expect, and went on a journey of a lifetime, and one that we would never forget. So let's just jump straight into it. Who's there? Hey, it's me, the Not Thing. Hang on a minute, you were the one that was making the noises in the vents last night, weren't you? Can I help you, or? No, I'm all good. I'm all good, man, trust me. Oh, you're thinking of staying, are you? Is that okay? Like, is that all good? I mean, no, not really. Oh, come on, man, like, seriously, come on, what's the big deal? What do you mean? Look, I need to get on with my review. Please, go ahead, be my guest, be my guest. For God's sake. It's always something. I should say before we start, I've been in Brisbane this last weekend interviewing Sylvester McCoy, Flex, and there was this vent that, you know, no meme, like sketch aside, it generally looked like the vent from Wild Blue Yonder, and it fucked me up. Like, I have this like really bad sore throat, and I've been coughing a lot, so if I sound like I'm dying, it's because I am. Now let's get into it. There's not gonna be a lot of L's for this episode, okay? I'm not trying to spoil it for you, but everyone knows I love this episode. But don't get mad at me when I start with one, okay? We're starting with an L, okay? I don't like the Sir Isaac Newton bit, alright? Call me crazy, but I just don't like it. Alright, now let's get on to all the positives. Let's get on to the W's, because there's a lot of them, Susan Twist, is that you? I remember seeing this woman and Russell being like, she's important, and being like, what on earth could this be? And I know the whole Susan Twist thing doesn't really go that well in the end. I know there's always a twist, Russell, but you know, seeing her here, it's cool. Looking back now, Russell, you're a little bit smart. You're a little bit smart. The tires crashing into the tree is a really good effect, and I love how you see the Doctor and Don just like popping out of it, being like, "Hey, how's it going?" Another L though, the Mavity joke. I don't think this is funny. I think it's stupid. I think it's silly, and I'm kind of not here for it. Mavity, boo, boo, boo on the Mavity joke. Not funny, Russell. Try again. Try harder next time. We have the title sequence. The TARDIS crashes into the wall. The fire comes out. The Wild Blue Yonder song is playing. Everything is happening at once. There's gonna be so many times in this review where I just like quote stuff and give it a W, or like something that the Doctor or Donna does that I'm just gonna be like, yeah, that's a W, because there's just so many things I love, and when the Doctor's just like that, like it's just like, I don't know, it's like seeing it in the trailers, it just got me so excited. It's a fat W, okay? The costume as well. I know it's the same, but just without the jacket. But that just, oh, come on. Like, he just looks so cool and great. I love the vest. Like, that man, David Tennant, he can pull anything off. The Doctor's like, we can do anything. Sonic screwdriver and a non-sonic screwdriver. I believe a non-sonic screwdriver is called a screwdriver. Thank you. Dude, I just love it. It's just like, we're just instantly into it. Instant classic. Donna talks about the Wild Blue Yonder song that the TARDIS was playing, and we get like another Wilf mention about how it's a war song and the kids shouldn't be singing it. It's creepy. Already we're just in this like vibe of this like spooky spaceship, and I'm really feeling it. I'm really feeling it. And we hear Murray's futuristic score. That sounds like a tortured theme, but like it just, oh, beautiful. Mwah, perfect. And although I will say this, I feel like this is before the Disney budget, so I think the ship CGI it looks a bit bad, particularly when you're watching it on like a 4K TV like I was last night. It doesn't look as good. I think they might have bit off a little bit more than they could chew. Be interested to see how they would have done it with the Disney budget now. We see Jimbo in the distance, and it's just like, it's so menacing. We don't know if it's a human or if it's an alien. It turns out it's a robot, but it's just in the distance. You just see it there, just looming. We get the Mavity joke again. Boo, Mavity. Boo, L Russell. Then we see something looking through the vents, the not things, it's creepy. There's this aesthetic, like they're being watched. And then suddenly the TARDIS leaves and it has the sonic screwdriver in the keyhole. This just leaves the audience feeling scared because the TARDIS is gone, the sonic screwdriver's gone, and they're just abandoned, and you feel the pressure. And then they start to argue, you spilled a cop. No. Like, it was just, going through all the Chibnall's era where the companions they barely had any friction. To see this, and after knowing these characters for so long and the history that they have, you really do believe these scenes. And when Donna says, oh my God, where are we? You feel it. And when the Doctor just grabs her and holds her, it's not acting. It's not acting, it's real. It feels real. You feel it through the screen. The HADS gets mentioned, the hostile action displacement system, which we saw in Cold War, which is really cool. Again, it's not really like a 6-year special. It's like, spoiler alert, Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi aren't in this episode, but we get the HADS mentioned, so it's like, okay, HADS. You guys remember HADS? But you see the not things through the air vents again. It's so funny, before they take the form of the Doctor and Donna, like, you kind of imagine what they're like. Are they just like particles? Are they just air? And you start to question it, and it's so spooky. There's something on this ship so bad the TARDIS ran away. When that was in the trailer, I'm like, what a banging line. And again, they're just building on this horror of like, what could be so bad on this ship that even the TARDIS ran away? I want to shout out Tom Kingsley, my boy, who directed this episode. I'm a huge fan of this guy's work. I really hope he comes back. None of the directors from the 6th year have returned, and I would actually like to see all 3 of them come back. Mrs. Bean gets mentioned, who is Donna's old music teacher. She says how she defended the song Yonder and said it's not a war song, it's jolly. And they laugh about Mrs. Bean, and Mrs. Bean comes back later in a really great way. And then we hear Fenn's Law and the changing of the walls, and the mystery starts to build. I thought you knew 27 million languages. I know 57,205,000,205, but not this one. Just a W again, just a W for some beautiful, sweet dialogue. The golf cart though is silly, and the Doctor just stamps on the floor and a golf cart just goes, ooh. It's like, okay, a little bit of convenience, but in an episode that's so beautiful, who really cares? We then meet Jimbo. Hello, Jimbo. Do you know what Fenn's Law means? Fenn's Law! Sorry. And then Jimbo moves one step, and it's one step at a time. We later find out that Jimbo has been set up to push the button to blow up the whole ship. Maybe time slowed down. No, I'd feel it in my bones. God, I hate reading lines and pretending to be the Doctor. I quote so much shit from this episode all the time. I just absolutely love it. The Doctor scanned on the computer, there's no signs of life. An airlock door opened 3 years ago and closed. I want to shout out the design of the spaceship. It looks incredible. They explain that on the edge of the universe. We now know this is from the Fox. I don't mind Fox. I actually enjoy it. We're actually revisiting it on the podcast at the moment. And to see it actually has consequences and Russell that's story enough to continue it on, I'm here for it. And it makes sense, and it actually gives it consequences. The Flux storyline has consequences, and we're seeing it now. They're on the edge of creation. This is when it hits me. This episode is it's slow and it's dialogue driven, and I just respect so much that Russell wanted to do an episode like this and didn't go for oh, we need an action episode where things that happen every 2 seconds and there's lots of running down corridors, and there's a bit of that in here, but it is just slow and dialogue driven, and I think that's why so many people love this episode. Collis and the walls move once again, and so does Jimbo. The Doctor goes into the room with the base plates, gets Donna to change them over. The set design is awesome, that orangey room. Doctor licks the base plate and he pretends to have a reaction to it. I know I've shit on Russell for not being very funny. That scene just makes me laugh every time, mostly just due to David Tennant's acting. The Doctor goes into the water pivot room, and then it gets cold. When we see in Donna's room, it gets cold. The Doctor walks in. This is horror, man. This is horror. Donna has this beautiful speech about how long her family will wait for her. She's had abandonment issues her whole life, and we're hearing about it, and it's just, these are the moments that you want to see and hear about. The Wilf mention as well. The Doctor says, he's lovely, Wilf, such a nice man, I'd love to see him again. And it's just so spooky knowing it's the not things. It's they just want to go to Earth, and that they would hurt Wilf, which makes anyone angry, particularly me. And then the Not Things Donna walks in and mentions Gallifrey if the Doctor misses it, and Gallifrey gets whacked quite a few times in this episode. Before that though, the Doctor tells the TARDIS story about how it'd be a little dot in civilization. This is all fantastic stuff. This is what I live for. I live for Doctor Who like this, seriously. Changing of the SD cards. How's that? My arms are too long. Practical arms just slamming to the floor. The Not Things Doctor being like, oh, we get hungry, don't we? Ooh, this is some scary shit. And I'm so there for it. The jaw. I send that gif out like at least once a week. Fine, I'll give an L. Maybe the CGI is a little shoddy, but... I think you can do better, do ya? Not the point. That's when they tell us their names. We are Not Things. I love that name, Not Things. It's like, again, when I was saying, before they took the form of the Doctor and Donna, it's like, what were they in the air vents? Like, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about, like, at the edge of creation, just, like, is it atoms? What could it possibly be? The Doctor and Donna grow so big that they get stuck. I remember just watching this live being like, this is not a multi-Doctor story, but I'm just so here for it. I can't even be mad. At this point, I'm still upset that there was no old Doctors in it. When you're watching an episode that's just as good as this, like you just don't care in the moment. They have no concept of shape or size. They got there through thoughts. That other Donna, she mentioned Gallifrey. Ugh. I don't want this review just to be me going like, I love this. I just saying love like 1,000 times, but oh boy. Great! The walls move. The Doctor and Donna get separated. Bit convenient. Yeah. Just the horror vibes in the dark. I remember hearing like the steps and stuff and thinking like, oh, it's Matt Smith. It's Matt Smith. It gets colder again and they run into each other. And what makes these scenes so good is that you actually don't know which one is which. The Doctor takes his tie off. The other Donna says, except it's not. And then the Doctor talks about Gallifrey being his home. The flux mention, it wasn't your fault. I know. The Donna Not Thing just like melted to the floor. The tie then being gone. Oh, I see. I'm just quoting shit at this point. No other one of these like look back reviews is ever gonna be like this. So just enjoy it for what it is. Mummy and Daddy on the Iris. Why has he traveled with someone as stupid as you? Donna. How can you not love this? My favorite scene in the episode, seriously, is just the Doctor just slamming on the wall. We feel the years of pain like finally coming out, and then him saying good because it was the Not Things Donna, and he knows, or at least suspects, the real Donna doesn't know about the flux and all the pain that he's gone through. And we just know the Doctor doesn't like talking about his feelings, and that's why he says good. Now all four of them run together. Again, Tom, Kingsley, take a bow, my friend. You don't know who is who. And the dialogue, it confuses you. Salt! L. I think it's very silly that the salt is what starts a superstition at the end of the universe. It brings back the toy maker, and then the maestro, and God knows what else. This is what brings them back. In an episode full of amazing things, I guess I had to have some things that I don't like, and I guess that's one of them. We find out that it didn't get cold anymore, and they're actually adapting. And the things that shaped us, they adapted and became evil because of the world. And again, like, that's the thing, it's like Russell, when he's not being like overly political and like really jamming down a message down your throat, it's like he didn't even need to specifically mention something that's happened in the world that could like influence the Not Things and being evil. It's like, we just know Earth is like full of evil and horrible shit and wars and famine and just awful stuff. And any one of those things could have influenced the Not Things. All that pain and misery, it traveled across the stars. And there's even a line like, love letters don't travel that far. And it's true. Like, what a line. Stunned! Moving again! The thinking makes them smarter, and if they're slow, they can't read them. But how can you solve the mystery about thinking? Russell, this is why I love you. You're so smart. You're so clever. This is why we love you, bro. Please write more like this. Why are there no more episodes like this? We find out the captain of the ship sacrificed herself so Not Things can't get the ship and come to like civilization or anywhere else in the universe. Kind of reminds me of like a Wars of Mars thing. It's like blowing up Bow Base 1 to stop the flood. Radico! I'm aware about how like janky and out of order this review is, and I do apologize. But seriously, it's like, I'm just like a kid on Christmas like watching this episode, because I'm like, Love this, love that, love this, love that, love. Scene after scene, just enjoying the fuck out of it. They find out Jimbo's about to press the button and detonate the ship. The Nothings are running towards it. The Doctor and Donna are running after it. They're speeding up the countdown. Vadine! Linus! Donna smacking her version of herself, the Nothings, and being like, this is therapeutic. I think we can all relate there. Senzu! The Doctor running on all fours. It doesn't look great. The TARDIS coming back and saving the day. A time machine will know. Maybe a little bit convenient, but I don't fucking care. It's glorious. And you hear the Wild Blue Yonder song playing like, he's like hanging out there's a loud bird outside. He's like hanging out the TARDIS and doing like the Marty McFly. Like the TARDIS is like a skateboard. The Mrs. Bean mentioned again. It's like the two Donnas. Like, why is Mrs. Bean funny? He picks up the wrong Donna. And actually, you know what? I knew she was in the third special, right? But I thought she was gonna die for a second. I gave the Starbase shit for this because I was like, we know Donna's not gonna die. But this episode is so good that even for a second, you think that she might actually die. That's how fucking good it is. Task Gladia. Boom! The ship blows up. The Doctor looks at the Nothings Donna on the TARDIS and goes, your arms are too long. And then boom, she slides out the TARDIS. But the Doctor grabs Donna and they hug. And you feel it. You feel the chemistry. These people love each other. We love them. They're safe. They made it. They're okay. That part always gets me every time. That's great to know, man. Donna asking the TARDIS what happened and the Doctor's like, a lot. But again, he's glad that she doesn't know. He's like, back on Earth, the Doctor Donna, did you see everything? She was like, no, it was too much. And he was like, oh, okay. A little bit of Jodieisms coming out in there, I suppose. The Doctor lands the TARDIS late. He's like, oh, he might be a few days out. A little bit of a running gag there. Oh, and then we see Wilf, which is just like, again, watching it last night and just like, I can't help it just have the biggest smile on my face every time. It's the last thing that Bernard Cribbins ever filmed, not even just for Doctor Who, like ever. He wasn't doing very well when he filmed it. It's just the fact we got that final scene. It's like, thank you so much, sir. Like, rest in peace. Like, we love you and thank you so much. The plane flying over. That's the last L, I swear. And you know what? It's a good cliffhanger. Like, cliffhanger leading to the giggle. We had that score from Murray. Ah! It's kind of like reminiscent of what he did in the show Years and Years. It's a good cliffhanger. Well, I'm back a couple of days later and look at that score. Good Jesus. 84 W's and 11 L's. I mean, I don't think we'll ever get something like that again. If we do this for Series 1, there's maybe one episode in Series 1 that I think could maybe beat this. But I don't think so. I think this is just a special episode and yeah, it's actually kind of crazy because the Starbase was a draw and this one's just like crazy. I think the giggle will be, yeah, it'll be different to the first two, I think. But yeah, this is the part where I recap the score after I've edited for a few days. Back to you, Past Connor. Man, like this episode truly is one of my favorite episodes of all time. Like I'm not incredibly impressed by R2D2, but I can go through all that shit if we have an episode like this, like every couple of years, because this truly just means so much for me. It's exactly why I watch Doctor Who. Exactly why I watch it. Definitely by far the best episode of the 60th. Definitely by far the greatest episode of R2D2. Maybe even his greatest episode ever. It's probably top 5, maybe top 3 episodes of me of all time. It's pretty close to perfect. It's exactly what I want it to be. And you know what? It didn't have Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi in it, but it's that good again that I didn't care for this episode at least. I was like, oh, they'll be in the giggle. Well, we did it. You just ad-libbed the entire time. Jesus, is this what it's like to be around me? Remember you made that tweet about RTD and Christopher Eccleston? It was like the AOH's reunion thing and everyone got mad at you. And thanks for watching, everybody. I've been Connor Hannum. You've been the best. I've been quite ill, so please forgive me. I feel like that whole thing was just like a big fever dream of me just like simping Wild Blue Yonder. But it is one of the greatest episodes of all time and you can't deny it. Thanks for all the love. I'll be back for the giggle. Peace and love, 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 peace and love.